Bonjour all you kiddos and kiddettes. Thanks for coming back for drawing tutorial number 4. My name is Jonathan Thunder, an artist from the Red Lake Ojibwe Nation. Today I'm going to be taking you through another lesson where we're going to draw a Bigfoot character. And to do this, you're going to want to grab a pencil, a pen, and an eraser. So once you have those on hand, get comfortable and let's make some art. Okay, as I mentioned, we're going to have this pencil. We're going to use this pen, and you're going to want to have a big eraser on hand just in case, but I always have an eraser at the end of my number 2 pencil just in case. Keep it on hand. This pen we'll use later. We're gonna use that in the second stage of our drawing. What we're going to do first is block out our drawing, kind of all the rough shapes of our drawing using this pencil. And then we'll come back to our pen later to solidify the drawing and darken all the edges and refine and add detail. And what I'm going to do is, like I always do, start with the head. So I think Bigfoot's head is probably going to be right about there. That seems about right. And he's got kind of this bullet-shaped dome from what I've seen in pictures, and Harry and the Hendersons, which was a movie about Bigfoot, kind of has this pointed head. And then I think his face generally lives somewhere in here. Almost like the rest of his head is hairy, but then I think this part of his head is not so hairy. It's more exposed skin, I would say. And I'm gonna go ahead just put the bottom of this area right here. I think his bottom lip is gonna be right about there. And then I suppose his chin would be still kind of covered in hair, but it would be down here somewhere. So as you can see right now with the pencil, I'm just kind of figuring out where this is all gonna go. And just kind of blocking it in real lightly, just trying to make light marks so that later when I come back with the pen, I'll go over this pencil and it won't be too apparent, you know, that it's 2 different utensils that we use for it. Although we're not trying to hide it, it's just it's just part of the process. So Bigfoot's shoulder is probably going to be right about here. And then he's going to have another shoulder right. He's got a pretty broad shoulder length there. So we're going to go ahead and put one right about there. I think I'll go ahead and draw his face in here. Let's give him a nice nose. Bigfoot's got a pretty good schnoz on him. So we'll give him a nice wide one there. I'm going to draw his upper lip. Give him a smile. We're going to give Bigfoot a nice big smile. We're going to give him some teeth too. Bigfoot's got to have some good teeth. All right. I think we'll put some eyes on him here. One there, and one there. And then I'm going to want to give him a little bit of an eyebrow section here too. Give him some happy eyebrows, make him look like he's not really worried about much. And then I think his irises, they call them, be kind of pointed in this direction. And again, we're going to come back later with this pen and just sort of work on all this stuff. We're going to make Bigfoot look hairy, so we'll be doing some stuff like this with the pen. But for the sake of this portion of the drawing right now, we're just kind of going in and figuring out where everything's going to be. So I think I'm going to have him kind of like an action pose. So maybe, you know, like I'm gonna put a couple lines here, almost like drawing a stick man. That's part of using this process with the pen, is you get to kind of block out where everything's gonna be. And, you know, I'll even do that with his arm. Let's say that this little circle represents his elbow. So like right here, and then I'll have his forearm kind of come down like this. And then I'll just make a little rough shape for his hand. And then the front of his body, let's say that this circle is his shoulder. I'm gonna have his upper arm area kind of be right about here. We'll make that his elbow. And then I'm gonna actually have his arm, his other arm, come back like this. Because I think we're gonna put something in his hand here. So I give him a nice round shoulder. I'm gonna fill in this part here. So this would be the center kind of area of the forearm. And we're gonna draw our forearm around it equally. So this is the bottom of the forearm, this is the top of the forearm. And this will be the bicep. You see how that kind of works? So the elbow kind of creates this structure here, and the shoulder kind of defines where that's gonna go. Then I'll just round that out. And then I'm gonna do the same with the back arm here. Give him a nice round shoulder, great big bicep area, and we'll give him a Bigfoot's always got kind of this muscular build. I imagine that probably lift trees or something, but most of all, they probably take a lot of vitamins to stay big and healthy. So we're gonna put some juice in his hand, and that's where he gets his vitamins from. So I think, let's see, what do we want to do? Maybe some cranberry juice. Maybe a big old bottle of ocean spray cranberry juice for this guy. That's why Bigfoot's so big. He drinks all of his cranberry juice. Gets all of his vitamins. Gonna draw a finger here. Another one here. Hands are tough, so if you don't get the hand on the first try, don't worry about it. That's why you got this eraser, in case you need to go back. Always try to keep them a little bit apart from each other. Just seems to look more natural if they're holding on to something, especially like a big cranberry juice bottle. I'm gonna draw this little pinky knuckle here, and then put his pinky right about there. All right, there's Bigfoot's hand holding that cranberry juice bottle. So we're gonna see that bottle behind these fingers here. And then this side will come out right about here. And I think these bottles are kind of flat on the bottom. Just going from memory here. And I think cranberry juice, we'll make some ocean spray. Cranberry juice in his hand. So you gotta have the big logo, which I think is like a wave or something. Then we'll just make the top here. I'll just open up the top. All right. Since it's cranberry juice, I think we'll make it a little bit darker. We don't want to see the inside of that bottle. So here's how you kind of draw like where the top of the level of cranberry juice would be, is you just make another little kind of oval shape in there, and then you just color that in, because cranberry juice would be kind of dark, you know, and then you can also color in the top of this oval shape here too, and you're going to get that effect. And there'll be some lines here, I think, from where you screw on the cap. So since we made this line here, Bigfoot's body is going to be kind of coming back like this. So I'm going to draw his back, and that's kind of his butt, or his like upper thigh, I suppose. And then his shoulder can be right there, and his chest will come all the way back to meet this area right here. So we're going to use these again, like this would be his knee, and this is his other knee. This is his leg. This is his ankle. That's his other ankle. And then I think this would be his foot. There's a toe. And like I said, stick man. And then this foot will probably be facing us, so I'm going to draw it down, but keep it kind of short. They call that foreshortening. And here's about where his toes would be. So let's see if we can make that work. I feel like the knee is going to be right about there, and like I said, this would be where the bone for the leg would be. So we're gonna just continue to draw the front of this leg all the way down, and then the back of the leg, or the bottom, is going to be right about there. Here's the calf muscle, which is that muscle at the top of the bottom part of your leg. The heel. I'm going to try to center this foot joint around that. I guess this would be the ankle. And then just kind of create this Bigfoot shape. So probably a big giant toe right there. I'm going to erase this now. Use my eraser to take that shape out. And then these other toes are going to be behind that first toe. And we're actually just going to give them 4 toes, just for the sake of this drawing. You see on cartoons a lot, people have like 3 fingers, 4 fingers. For this one, we're going to give Bigfoot 4 toes. And when you're drawing, you don't always need all that information if you don't need it. You can, if you want to give Bigfoot 5 toes, feel free to do that in your drawing. So now this leg is going to be kind of pointing towards us. We're going to give him his knee. We're going to kind of block that knee in there. And then this will be the front of the shin, I guess, right here. So we'll see his calf muscle on both sides of this part here. And then I'm going to take this out, because we don't need that anymore. You probably see a little bit of his heel here. I think his ankle is going to be right about there. And it's tricky to draw stuff in foreshortening, but if you just follow along here, I'll show you how to do it. So there's a big toe. We'll give him a little toenail just to show the angle of that toe. Now we're going to do this toe, and they're going to overlap just a little bit. Just a little bit. And then we'll bring that line up to meet that. So in reality, this foot is a little longer than we're drawing it. But since we're drawing it pointing towards us, I'm going to fix that real quick. We're not seeing it. We're not seeing it as long as we would see it if it was pointed sideways like this one. And again, that's called foreshortening. I'm just going to work on this shape just a little more, because he sort of has this arch here. We're going to do Bigfoot's hand. So I would imagine, his thumb is probably sticking out to the side like that. And there's the top of his hand. And then we could probably just have his fingers kind of pointed down towards the ground here. Maybe he's making kind of like a, almost somewhat of a fist. See, I got to reposition that. That's why we're doing this first part in pencil, so that you can kind of make things meet. See, what happened was I started to draw these fingers in here, and I didn't have enough room for the pinky, so I just added a little more hand, and then I was able to get that pinky in there. So now I'm going to go ahead and erase that reference. I'm going to erase this. We're going to keep this knee, you know, and you can clean this up at your leisure. And then we're going to go ahead and give him something to stand on here. Oh, he's drinking his cranberry juice. I think we'll give him a nice little skateboard. Just going to kind of shape that out. Got this little thing on the back. I give him some wheels. Just kind of roughing these in there. And then those wheels kind of go back under the skateboard. Sort of like that. And then there's the edge of the board. So now, here's the easy part. I wouldn't call it easy, but it's going to go a little quicker. So what I'm going to do, I'm actually just going to get rid of that cap for now. If you got a ballpoint pen, just go ahead and start roughing in all these shapes right here. Just kind of making that. You see how we're just sort of taking all the hard work that we did to figure out what Bigfoot's going to look like. And now we're just kind of solidifying it with this pen. We're just sort of committing to those marks that we made. His teeth. I'm just going to darken it underneath here like that. And then maybe I'll just kind of insinuate it like there's the bottom of his mouth there. I might try to fix that a little. Give him a lot of hair. Go ahead and give Bigfoot a lot of hair because he's kind of a hairy guy. Even this line here, you can mess that up a little bit. You see all I'm doing is just taking my pen and going back and forth. Just imagine that if you were like petting a cat, you'd pet it down, and that's kind of the way that you want the fur to come off this guy. I don't feel like you have to make everything connect either. We're not going to draw every piece of hair on his body. That's kind of why we're doing this outline the way that we are, is because it leads us to believe that what we're looking at is hairy all over without actually having to draw every piece of hair. And there's Bigfoot's chin. There's his back. We're going to lose some of that definition that we put in there to make the shape, but that's okay because overall it's going to look okay. You know, and that's sort of the point of this whole two-step process with the pencil and then the pen. I'm going to kind of speed this up here a little bit. Just going to go around this whole piece here and make sure that everything is nice and dark. Use this ink to make everything pop for Bigfoot. The reason why we're drawing Bigfoot today is because he's represented in the 7 Ojibwe teachings, and he's said to represent honesty. which is why they say Bigfoot is so tall. Because when you're honest, you can stand up tall. You live an honest life. And I don't know what that says about his ability to skateboard and drink cranberry juice at the same time, but I'm sure it's somehow related. All right. So now we have everything pretty much outlined. I think I'm just going to go ahead and add a few finishing touches. I'll just sort of work on Bigfoot's beard here. You know, and you can put a few squiggly lines inside here. You know, if you want to, even make it kind of little V shapes. You don't have to do the whole thing. I think that's going to go ahead and help sell that effect. That Bigfoot's a pretty hairy character. And some of that hair is going to be blown in the wind because he's cruising. Then we'll go ahead and just finish up by giving him a little shadow. Right about here. A little shadow for his skateboard. Right about there. Maybe have some of that ocean spray. Cranberry juice jumping up out of there. And let's even give him one of these things like he's kind of kicking up some dust here. There. So that is the two-step process of painting or drawing, rather. You're drawing with a pencil and then going in and finishing up with a pen. All right, miigwech to everybody who followed along today with our pencil and ink two-step process. I hope you had as much fun as I did drawing Biggie here, aka Bigfoot, aka Sasquatch, aka Saabe. Feel free to post any pictures that came from this lesson today. My name is Jonathan Thunder. Join me next time as we draw a mick or beaver. So I hope you come back for that, and in the meantime, be safe, be well, Gigawabamin, Minawa.